Joining us now, Chairman Reince Priebus of the RNC. And Mr. Chairman, welcome back to the program. Glad you're with us.
Hey, thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's go through this a little bit here.
Sure.
You demanded the apology from who's the head or the leader of that propaganda firm?
Yeah, Phil Griffin.
Phil Griffin. And you got the apology. Where does it stand now?
Well, I mean, look, you know, in their professed world of tolerance, you know, they're sure hitting on all eight cylinders of intolerance. You know, it started with, you know, Melissa Perry and comments about Mitt Romney's new grandchild, Martin Bashir and Palin. We had one of their new hosts that's coming up was talking about some of the physical disabilities of that soldier hero from Tuesday night and using that as a political statement. So here's what we did. This tweet came last night. And first thing in the morning, I called Mr. Griffin, left a message, sent him a letter saying that we were not going to allow any of our surrogates or myself and all of the other world of Republican surrogates on their show. And one, apologized, and number two, did something of some corrective action on their shows to take some action. Now, to his credit, Mr. Griffin, to his credit, pretty quickly, number one, publicly apologized, and he also took corrective action and some administrative action on his staff. I'd never talked to Mr. Griffin until today. So I had that conversation,
let me play this
and he took that action.
Now, I think actually you've shown a lot of patience up until this point, and for example, especially on the issue of race. Let's play a little montage for you and remind you of some of the things that were said even prior to this incident.
The return to something like Jim Crow days, redolent of all the old anti-black gimmickry of that time.
The word was conceived of by a group of wealthy white men who needed a way to put themselves above and apart from a black man. Y'all know the word that I'm talking about. Obamacare.
When Mrs. Palin invokes slavery, she doesn't just prove her rank ignorance. She confirms that if anyone truly qualified for a dose of discipline from Thomas Thistlewood, then she would be the outstanding candidate.
You damn right Dick Cheney's heart's a political football. We ought to rip it out and kick it around and stuff it back in him. Do you know what they're talking about? Like this right-wing slut, what's her name, Laura Ingraham? Yeah, she's a talk slut.
You know, especially on the issue, Mr. Chairman, of the race card. I mean, if anybody disagrees with President Obama, I mean, he pretty much will label them a racist. That's standard operating procedure there.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting stuff, and maybe you're right. You know, maybe it took too long. I understand, and quite frankly, I've been a part of many of these comments, but nothing like you just played. And, you know, I can take it. That's what you get when you're chairman of the party. But some of these things that are done about families and people's appearance and gender, race, statements about people on the right side of our party, I'm just not going to stand up as chairman of the party and take it. And so, look, this was a first step. It was the first time I talked to Mr. Griffin. He reacted pretty quickly, and now we have to stay on top of it. So you know what? It's sort of like being on probation, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, we're here, we're watching them, and it's our responsibility, and it's mine in particular, I think, also to stand up for our party. And so that's what I did today, and I'll do it again. So I promise you that.
One has to wonder what Brian Williams and Tom Brokaw and even Matt Lauer think of their news brand, the way it's been demolished by these radical left-wingers.
Well,
but we're going to have to
run.
But go ahead.
Okay, well, they don't have a problem with painting every Republican with a broad brush. And you know, when MSNBC and NBC have all this poison, we had to call them out on it, and I'm happy they reacted. But more to come.
All right, thanks, Reince Priebus of the RNC, and coming up.